the other unique a skill set you bring to the table, man, you develop talent. You've always had the knack of finding, being a minister of music. You've always had the knack of finding great talent. That's one of the things, man, uh, that I love as a producer, and we've seen each other do it. I like to find raw talent that nobody else wants, that nobody else acknowledge, and I like to polish it, shape it. The same stone that you've been walking over for years, it was look crusty. I like to take that stone and I like to put the blue to it, flame it up, and make you go crazy on it. That's something that I've always wanted to do. You do it, but when it comes to talent development, the problem, let's talk about when it comes to singers, because we meet a lot of talented people that have the potential, the raw talent, but they have no guidance
and no character. Right?
No character. They don't really know how to ascend to the next level,
right,
as an artist.
Right.
And when you take them there, they spaz out, get the big head,
right,
or a lot of times they don't want to give up the mediocre that they're in, because the mediocre has been all they've seen.
That's it. And that's their plateau.
And so talk about that.
That's good.
When I do talent, when I look for talent, right? The first thing that I look for in talent is how can I put that? I'm trying to put it in a way. I'm trying to find the word. I'm looking for longevity, humbleness, a longevity of humbleness. Now, when I say a longevity of humbleness, you're saying, how are you putting these words together? Raw talent is everywhere. Now, I'm in Atlanta. Everybody knows in Atlanta, talent is a dime a dozen up here. Talent is under the bridge singing. Talent is on the street corner singing. Talent is in restaurants singing. Talent is in the grocery store singing. It's everywhere. The problem with getting talent, because you got to be careful when you get it. That's why I say it's got to be that longevity of humbleness. You have to get a person who's going to be humble.
Come on.
And who can continue being humble. Even after they've ascended to heights that's beyond their wildest imaginations, the ability to still stay humble, pliable, because no one has arrived. My brother is one of the baddest producers, just like he talk about me, I talk about him. The baddest producers that ever touched faders, right? But the one thing that I love about him, and me and him be having these arguments all the time, is he's still growing. And as long as he keeps the mindset that he has to grow, he's going to continue to be great.
I rate myself a 4. Don't matter what. I'm always going to be a 4. I'm never going to grow past a 4.
But I know this kid is the 15, but he rates himself a 4. And the same thing with me is for when it comes down to keys. I don't think I'm that great on keys, but he thinks
30.
I learned something very essential in my early years of salvation. I learned the difference between Saul and David. The difference between Saul and David, when Saul sinned, he asked Samuel to forgive him. When David sinned, he asked God to forgive him. The difference is that Saul was small in his own eyes until he ascended to be a king. When he ascended to be a king, he got the big head. David was small in his own eyes. And even after he ascended to be king, he stayed small. Talent is oftentimes hidden, And you have to take, and just like how Rico say, you'll walk over until you pick it up. And then you have to take a laser, just like I did do, because when diamonds come out of the earth, they're ugly. Diamonds are not beautiful from in their original form, but they take a laser and they, and who's ever cutting that diamond, they know how that diamond is supposed to look, because in their mind, they're going to set this diamond into something. They're going to place it in something. So what happens is in talent development, when we see you, you might not sound like Tasha Cobbs. You may not hit notes like Tamela Mann. You may not be, you know, a music producer, keyboard player like Vashawn Mitchell, but there is something about you that we can recognize that it, and it's just like how Rico said, it's a potential in you that we know you're not where you're supposed to be, but I know how to get you there.
You can't get yourself there.
You can't get yourself there because you don't have to listen.
Talk about that. Talk about that mediocre plateau, bro. Get there, hit it, bring it. Talk about it.
When I had a moment where I had to make a change in my life, and in making that change, I had to stay with my brother for about 3 months. I stayed with my brother. I moved
6 months.
6 months. That's right. 6 months. My bad. Excuse me, sir. But I came down and I stayed with my brother for 6 months. And I thought that this cat was the most evil tyrant that walked planet Earth. I thought he was. Ron, I'm serious. I thought he was the most evil cat. Like I was saying to myself, he gets up on a daily basis to antagonize me to death on a daily basis. Every day. No, this ain't right. No, you got to do this. No, bro, you can't, you got to change. No. And I'm like, I'm doing the best as I can. No, you ain't doing the best you can. This ain't it. Come on. Go ahead, you got to do this. This don't sound right. Go ahead and play this, do this, do that, do this, that. All of the time when I was with him. So when I got my own place, I was like, oh, I am so free from this Negro. Right? And this is no lie. That was 2006, 2007. That was January 2007. I came back to him in 2012 when I first moved up here. And I had to thank him for what he did, because he was developing me into the person who I am now. Now, I couldn't see that, right? Because my plateau was stifled and only went to this level, and that's as far as it could go. But that's how that portion of my life, ministry, and everything else was given to me. It was given to me with that. So what he did was he changed my programming, changed the way I thought. Because man, I wasn't even the person that did a 9 to 5. Who? Me? Work? 9 to 5? No, not Ricky. No. Because I thought that the lifestyle that I was living was a grand lifestyle. It wasn't a grand lifestyle because I was still in debt. But if your eyes are not open, if you don't have nobody cutting at the diamond, cutting off the old stuff, cutting off the bad stuff, molding you and shaping you into something that you can't see about yourself. If you don't have that, then you're walking around like you're just living, you're just breathing to death. You're not living life. You're just breathing to death. And a lot of folks will walk around just breathing to death. They think that they're living, but they're not. They're not living, they're just breathing to death. And you have to have somebody to come and change your mentality first of who you are. That's number one. That's the first thing he worked on me. He worked on my self-esteem. He worked on me changing who I am, because for so long I had someone telling me who I was instead of me looking to myself, finding out exactly who I am. So that's the first thing he did. He changed my viewpoint on myself. The second thing he did was challenge me in the areas where he knew that I was great in. So he wouldn't let me be mediocre. He wouldn't let me be just this average person who walks around playing keys. He wouldn't let me have that same mentality, that because I was in bondage with those thoughts. And so he had to stick the keys in and unlock. The thing about bondage is when you get used to bondage, it's easy for you to sit in it.
That's
good. The reason why folk don't get delivered, because they're so used to something. When it's time for them to step outside the box and do something different, they can't do it because they don't have the wherewithal to do it.
That's man.
You have to have someone to come in and challenge your thought process. First thing you got to change is you, because you can't change nothing around you until you change you. So when he got me to change myself, then I started looking like, wait a minute, hold up. I ain't as bad as I thought I was. I can do this. I can do this. And all of a sudden, boom, my whole life exploded. Everything changed. But I had to have someone to take that diamond, cut it. So now when he sees me, he sees the finished diamond. So now when we have arguments, we have software arguments. We have hardware arguments. He's a Mac man, I'm a Windows man. We have arguments like that. But we don't have them arguments like we had before, because he's seen the maturity. He's seen the maturation of what I've went through, and he sees where I am now as opposed to where I was before.
That's right, man. Hey, Pastor, you were really bringing a fire word for sure. And that's, I mean, wow. I mean, people get comfortable in their bondage, like you said.
But look how many folks are in there. You got musicians walking around right now that can be the next anybody, the next great producer.
Randy just said something. She just said your comfort zone is your.
No one's there to cut away the mess.
Your comfort zone is your coffin. Your comfort zone is your coffin.
Right.
You know,
right.
I remember
that's what Rico was challenging, my comfort zone. No, he's like, no, you ain't gonna be like this. No, you got to change your mentality. Get out and get a job. Stop being lazy. Get in there. Go make a track. Go make a track now. Go in there and do. When I'm at his house, I got my studio equipment in one side of the room. He got his studio equipment. He could be having a studio session, and he'll like put them headphones on, go in there and make a track. You just got home from work. All right, go in there, take a bath, go in there and make a track. Now you would think, and now he's talking to me, and I'm older than him. But he's talking to me like I'm a child. But at that time, I had a child mentality because I didn't know who I was. So he had to first show me who I am, and then once he showed me who I am, then he was able to really pour